Yo, hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. I am very excited to share with you guys today the ChessGenius Pro from Millennium. I've been very excited to make this particular review video. I've had this chess set for a little while now. I just haven't had the time to get around to making the review, so hopefully today you guys are going to be able to take a look and see what this particular board is all about. Now, Millennium is a chess company that mainly produces all kinds of different electronic chess boards, starting from like the very small type of electronic chess sets that you've also seen me review on this particular channel, all the way up to like the Mephisto, which some of those boards are quite large, tournament size, and come with even like separate computers. Like the Mephisto will actually is pretty very advanced type of a chess set. And their price ranges also range all the way, like starting from about $50 all the way up to like $2,000. And whenever they make a particular chess product, it's sort of like a car company, like a big car company, maybe like Toyota or Ford or something. When you think about a car company trying to introduce a new car into their lineup, they always have to think about like, well, where does that car fit in between the other cars? So we have the small, maybe compact car, like a small sedan, and then we have the full-size sedan, and then we have maybe some kind of a crossover, and then we have a minivan, a large van, a small SUV, you know, a large SUV, and maybe some other stuff. And so anytime they introduce a new model, a new car, they're always having to think like, okay, what particular niche, where is it going to sit in between the other cars? And so like if you make a particular car that too closely resembles some of the other cars in its own lineup, then you could see that it could create some problems. Like for example, the Toyota recently has unveiled that their minivan options are going to have all-wheel drive, and that potentially starts to encroach on some of their like small SUVs that also have all-wheel drive, because the SUVs are supposedly known to have, you know, the off-road capabilities that the minivan should not. And then so there's a conflict within the company that I feel like could be present when the company has so many different products. Same goes for Millennium. They have a bunch of different chessboards. Unfortunately, the most expensive chessboard that I've had a chance to review on this channel is the Millennium King Performance chessboard, and I think that retailed for somewhere about $500. I'm not affiliated with Millennium company so far. I don't get any of these products for free. I have to purchase them with my own money, so I would definitely be super excited if Millennium decided to send me some of their like larger, more advanced chessboards, so that on this channel we can all gaze, take a look, and share our thoughts on, you know, the performance on some of those bigger boards and see whether or not buying those boards would make sense. But at this time, like I said, I haven't established a direct line of communication with Millennium just yet, so we have what we have. But nevertheless, I'm really excited to bring you today the ChessGenius Pro, this guy right over here. And I'm very excited to also not only show you what this product's all about, but also kind of compare it and try to explain where it sits in between the lineup of some of the other chessboards. As far as price for this particular product, it also is a consideration for the company. Like when they're designing a particular board, any company really, they have to see like, okay, so if this particular chess set, we are going to make it retail for, let's say, $60. Then we'll make a slightly bigger, maybe a little bit more options, not much, but we have this advanced Europe Championship, or I think, yeah, that's what it's called. It's called the Millennium Europe Chess Champion. Now we're gonna introduce a couple of different other little features in there, and we're gonna maybe up the price by 20 bucks or whatever we feel is necessary. Then we're gonna introduce the Millennium Pro, the Millennium ChessGenius Pro, a little bit of a bigger board with a lot more advanced features, as we'll see here in just a second. We're gonna up the price to, well, we can up it to maybe like 160. I mean, should that be a lot? Maybe 170, 180. But then if we get closer to 200, now you're starting to encroach on the price of the Millennium E1, which is a lot of bigger board. I have reviewed the Millennium E1 with a lot more capabilities, okay? Let me grab the camera real quick and I'll show you the lineup here to start off so you guys can sort of see and compare the sizes of these different boards that I have on the table here. Like I said, I wish I had had the opportunity to really set out all of the Millennium products so that way you guys can see like how they are different from each other. But I have what I have, and in fact I feel like I have enough chessboards here to drive some very important points across for you guys, especially those that are sort of making a determination what type of Millennium board they wish to purchase if they do. So let me grab my camera and I'll show you something.
Alrighty, so I do have to apologize. The angle of the camera might be a little bit awkward here. Might not be able to show everything that I wanted to show, but for the time being, just wanted to kind of pull up the camera up there so I can show you the size differences. We have the Europe Champion chess set right over here from Millennium. Both of these chess sets, they do have some kind of an AI inside that allows you to play against the computer. I don't think either of them are going to be able to play online, at least at this time, but you do have the processing power to play a good game of chess within both of them. Now moving on, we have the ChessGenius Pro right over here. It is a little bit bigger. As you see, the squares are going to be a little bit bigger. Now, one of the similarities that you see between this particular chess set and this is that you have the notation present on every single square with an alternating color. So in the light squares, we have them in dark, and then in the dark squares, we have them in light. This may be a little bit busy for some people, and maybe some people would prefer to just have notation on the sides instead of every square, but I also feel like you would have to question about who this particular chessboard is meant to sort of be catered to. Maybe they're considering like, okay, this is going to be for kids. Maybe this is going to be for scholastic purposes, or somebody that's just trying to get into chess, and they might benefit from individual squares having individual notations. So that way they're not like seeking the coordinates and trying to figure out, oh, well, what's this square here? Okay, well, we got the, you know, we got the 4, we got the 4 here, we got the F. Okay, so this must be F4. But this might be a little bit easier for some people. Like I said, maybe some kids and somebody that's trying to get into chess. That notation, even though it's busy, it's not that busy. I think that it's still reasonably okay. The squares are not really sort of, they're still there. And I feel like if you're playing a game of chess, you don't really even see the notation unless you're really looking for it. Same here. Now the squares are a little bit smaller. Both of these particular boards, both the ChessGenius and these two, the way, and also this one as well, the way that they're designed is you do kind of press into the squares. When you're pressing it into the square, when it's turned off, it doesn't have any particular like physical click to it. Neither does this or any of their other boards. But when the board is turned on, you could see that a slight like light touch on these particular squares will set off, so we know that underneath there must be some kind of individual physical sort of maybe buttons or some kind of toggles to where the board sits underneath, and it senses the slight bit of pressure that you put on them. And you have to put physical pressure. You can't just put your finger lightly and keep it on there. It will not sense it. But as soon as you slightly depress it, then it works. Same with this particular board. So this is the ChessGenius box here. I've already, as you can see, taken out the ChessGenius Pro. On the back, it says here we have the processor, ARM Cortex M4, 120 megahertz. So does that tell us much? Maybe some people that understand this more would probably be able to comment below. Let us know if this is a powerful processor. Chessboard, pressure sensor board. We have a display that is color display. That's going to be something that we'll definitely be taking a look here in just a second. Text base, 14 languages. So these are all the different languages that are present. The weight of this particular product is 650 grams, 7.87 by 7.87 inches, so 20 by 20 centimeters. Power supply. So it does require 4 AA batteries that are not included. And I'll show you guys where those sit in the back of the board, or an AC adapter. That is something new here, and it's not included either.
That's a little bit weird that they wouldn't include the adapter, since, you know, the adapter should be coming with it. But maybe they figured if you're going to get this board, you are not really going to need an adapter. I don't know. 3-year warranty. I'm not really sure on what parts, defects, whatnot, but there you have it. Okay, so more or less, when you open this up, it kind of slides this way right over here, as we see this little sleeve here. We can go ahead and put it away. Now we've got the internal box here. Once you open up the box, the chessboard was in here along with the chess pieces and the instruction manual. That's about it at this point. Like I said, for the price, I wish they did include the AC adapter, but we have what we have. You get this little canvas bag right over here. It's a nice little cloth bag that will hold your pieces. When I first saw this in the box and it was kind of rolled up a little bit, I almost thought that this was a particular bag for your chessboard, so that way you can, you know, just keep your chessboard in there. But as far as the size of this, it is a lot smaller, so it would not fit your board, but it is going to be a pretty good, nice little baggie here for your pieces. We'll take a look at the pieces here in just a second, okay? It's got these sort of little drawstrings here, and then the pieces are stored inside the pieces. As far as the size of the pieces are actually going to be resembling a little bit more so the Millennium E1 than they do either of these boards, okay? So take a closer look at this particular board here. Like I said, a really nice product overall. On the back, right over here, do you see where the adapter is going to be put into? For a board like this, if they didn't include an adapter, I'd really like to see this be like a USB-C instead, because now I really don't have a way to power it from like the wall if I didn't necessarily want to use the batteries. Right over here we have an on-off switch. On the back of the board we have a compartment for the batteries, and I think that there's like a little thing for the speaker here, and then a little reset, as we oftentimes see if like your board jams up or something. Right over here, we kind of unclick this, and then we pop this open, and you see a bunch of Energizer batteries that sometimes, you know, when you get this as a gift for somebody and you show up at some kid's birthday party and you're like, hey, look what I got you, and then they're super excited. They open this up and their parents don't have batteries, or, you know, and then so it's like, well, you should use the internal, you know, power adapter, and that doesn't come with a power adapter. So now your parent has to go to the store to pick up some batteries while you sit there. Anyways, so that's that. It does have the little sort of rubber knobs here that will allow it to sit stably on a smooth surface like a table like we have here. And the little rubberized feeling to them, it will prevent it from sliding and all that type of stuff. That's about it. There's no other buttons anywhere besides the buttons that we see here in the front, and I'll get to those here in just a second. So for the most part, everything looks really good. Now, they do provide you with a little cloth bag, because if we look at in the back, we had the place where you put the batteries, okay? And it only used up 3 batteries instead of 4. And then we had a space for your chess pieces, okay? That was really nifty, because given that the chess pieces were kind of small, you could keep your chess pieces up in here and you won't lose them. So that way you don't, you know, you're not searching around for them. They're always part of the product, which was really nice. It is underneath. When you're playing the game, I kind of wish they had found a way to have these like little shelves or something that could come out the side, because when you're playing and you're getting rid of the pieces, especially with them being really small, and if you're like sitting in a car like I did, you were playing a game, you don't know where to put the pieces, and then the pieces end up falling somewhere, and they're kind of small, so that's always tricky. Oh, by the way, this does also have a little thing for the adapter, so that's kind of neat and good to know. That way, if you can just buy one adapter if you have several of these boards. I don't see you really needing a reason like to have a bunch of these boards unless you are like a YouTube reviewer or something like me. But yeah, there you have it. On the European Chess Champion board, it does similarly have the space kind of the same way as the other one. So 3 batteries and the space for your chess pieces. So now that we've kind of gone through most of the size characteristics and some of the things I wanted to talk about, another thing I want to mention is that all 3 of these boards do have like a magnetic board type of thing, which when you put the piece on the board like this and like this, you can hold the chessboard in a different angulation like this, and it will be able to keep your pieces in place. So that's really good, considering that the board's supposed to be portable. You can walk around with it, and you don't, hopefully your pieces are not gonna go all over the place. If you're getting this as a gift for like a kid or something, that's also a really good option. Considering that the pieces are kind of small, it would be likely that, you know, during play or any shifting could potentially, you know, like you could run into the pieces could get off their squares, and it could, you know, but here the pieces can stay, which is really nice. Now when we look at the screen on the, for example, the Europe Chess Championship chess set, like up close, and I'm sorry I do have a little bit of a glare, but I'm gonna try to do this as best as I can. Right over here, this is what I was talking about before, is that the chess pieces kind of look a little bit funky. Like, what, for example, is that? What is that? Or the way that at least there's some kind of a weird head right there that might kind of give you an indication that might be a knight. And that, well, that kind of looks like a rook, but like, what is this? Just, you can't, maybe, I know once you start getting used to this, it's okay, but like the pieces don't really look as the way they maybe should look. Like this doesn't look like a bishop. And this, well, this doesn't look like a queen either. So the king, yeah, you got the little cross on top, so maybe that's the one piece that you'd say, yeah, that's definitely a king. But especially if you're like wanting to play with somebody else, and somebody else is like seeing this for the first time, they might be like, I'm not really playing well because, you know, can't see. Not that you would need it because you're actually playing on the actual board, but still. In comparison, we're going to move this aside and put this over here. The screen on the ChessGenius Pro, to a lot of people probably that would really have wanted it to be this way, is an actual little LCD screen that you see over here. It's in color. It's really nice. Now you do have the option to change a couple of things in the menu, and we'll take a look here closely. The menu is actually really easy to navigate through. They do have like a little dedicated button here on the side, right over here, for the brightness. So once we click that, you can actually make the screen a lot brighter if you want it brighter, or make it darker. So if you're in a really dark room, you don't need it so bright because it might be distracting, or you just don't ever want to have it too bright, or you want to save battery life. There you have it. You don't need it super bright, but you know that you have the option if you're somewhere in a bright lit room to make it really bright like this. Let's just, for the sake of this video, I'm going to make it the brightest it can be, so that way it's going to be a little bit easier for us to kind of go through the menu and kind of see what this is all about. The menu is actually very self-explanatory. You got two buttons that basically, it's not a touch screen. So you got two buttons that pretty much do everything for you. There's the up, down buttons on the side here, but these are the main two buttons. So if you click the menu, and then you've got these buttons here that allow us to basically move around. So you can have, let's start from the bottom. You can have setup position. So if you do the setup position, you can clear the board entirely, and then you can go around and you can actually physically click on the board like this. And then you can choose which particular chess piece you want in there. For example, I want the rook to be here. Then I'm going to click on B5 on the actual physical board. And I want, let's see, I want a dark queen here. So you can set up a position that way. It's not going to be as quick as maybe using like the chestnut air, because the chestnut air has individual piece recognition. And all you have to do is just put the pieces on the board. But just know that you do have the option of setting pieces up and creating a specific position that you want to play. We have a new game. When you click on new game, you want to play as white or black, or you can play 2 players. So if you're playing with somebody else in the same room, you can do this particular option. If you're going to do this option, then you can just play. Here we got the board, and we started a new game. This would be a 2-player game. So you kind of depress the piece into the board physically, and then you put it where you want it to be. Then it waits for the opponent to make a move. In this particular case, let's just, I don't know, just for example. I mean, things work pretty well. They work the way that they were intended, the way that they were designed to work, which is really nice to see. You know that this board, in order for it to sense the moves, you have to push them. But aside from that, you know, you're not getting any glitches or anything like that. It's always good and reassuring to know that the board works really well the way that it's designed to be working. You can have a play level right over here, and you can change that at any point. Play level, tournament, play level, you can do a user level, so that's a specific custom level. You can do a find mate, which is gonna basically cause the AI to try to find the quickest mate possible. Normal, if you click on normal, you can have a different level that the higher the level, the longer it's gonna take the moves to, like, for the computer to go through the moves. So if you do a level 1, which is the easiest, I guess, the computer will be making a move in 1 second. If we go to 2, it's 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and so forth. But once you get to level 5, it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds at level 6, 30 seconds at level 7, 1 minute at 8, 9, level 9 is 2 minutes per move, 2 minutes per move. Okay, so let's try that, okay? And we'll click OK, and we'll start playing. And I'll go D4. Now, in the beginning, this board plays pretty quick. One of the things you do notice here is that although we do get the stuff on the screen here, we don't have LED lights on the board, so you do have to refer to the actual screen to know where your opponent has moved, okay? We do play okay in the beginning. What I did notice is when I was playing the other day, up until about move 10 maybe, the board was moving pretty quick, but then at some point, so this is move 6, at some point it starts slowing down, because in the beginning I feel like the board is using a lot of like the book moves. So in the beginning, I guess there's a lot of book moves that are already present in its sort of AI, and it's able to, without computing too much, go for making the moves. Like right now, you see, after move 6, it's doing this little number here. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it on the bottom here, but it's thinking. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. My best guess is that it will give itself 2 minutes to think if you are at that level, if need be. What I have found in some situations is the board does take a little bit longer time to think. Alrighty, so I've actually run out of my SD card, and at some point I had to go back downstairs and get another SD card. Finally, it has made a move, so we're gonna go ahead and that's where I decided to go ahead and move in this particular case. Yeah. So let's just, I don't know, let's just go ahead and go for the attack, or maybe not an attack, but this kind of attack. Let's see what it's gonna do. Okay, so this is move 7. The move 6 did take a little bit of time. I'd probably say good 2 minutes to make a move. We'll take a look. Alrighty, so it decided to go this way. I'm guessing it's retreating. If it knew that I would have attacked here and it repositioned itself there, maybe not the best move. I don't know. It did take about 2 minutes or so, so it is taking a little bit more time, but just kind of wanted to show you the playing style. I think that if you're playing it maybe at a slightly less sort of a difficult level, maybe it would take less time to think. But let me gonna show you some of the other options that are available. So we've covered the playing level. We have the normal, we have the blitz, we have the fun level. This level is with mistakes, and similarly you can do a level that's gonna be a little stronger, starting from 1 and all the way to 8, okay? Or 0 and all the way to 8. Then we have, what other levels we have? We have the fun, we have the easy, we have the tournament, user, customized, find mate, and normal, okay? We also have, the analysis. If you're playing 2 players, you can have an analysis going. So if you click that, and it shows you 2 people here. So that way you can always click the analyze game right over here, and it will analyze your moves right over here. So it's analyzing at a depth of 6, and it's basically giving us a readout. Like right now the computer's thinking it will give us a readout of what it believes might be the best next move for the white. So you can have that going on in the background while you're playing against somebody else in the same room on this board, which is really nifty, especially if you want to consult and see like, well, am I ahead, am I behind, what does this position tell us as far as who's winning, who's losing, that type of thing. Okay, so that's kind of neat to know. As far as other options include, you can turn the board around. The tutor allows you to basically ask for hints, and then it'll do analysis and stuff. You can do resign. Now, playing style of this particular, you can change it from normal to risky, that makes mistakes, but it might be a little bit more aggressive, to solid, to back to normal. As far as the book from which it's basically going to be making its beginning moves, you can have the classical, the modern, or off. You can have a sound differences, so we've seen this. It's kind of nice, so you can have the speaker at off, so it makes no noise at all. You can have it at 33%, and we'll hear what that sounds like in just a second. So 100, 66, 33. You guys might not be able to pick up on it as well, but there is a difference, so we'll try it again. So it is going to be the loudest at 100. And then brightness here, which we've seen, there's an actual dedicated brightness button on the front here, but you can have the brightness at 0, which is still a little bit backlit. You can have it at 25, 50, 75, and 100. Pieces, how the pieces are going to look on the board, you can have a modern, special, classic, standard, modern. So if we do like special and we get back to the actual playing, they do look a little bit different here, as you can see. And if we go back to options, and we can do, for example, classic pieces. Classic pieces are going to look a little bit different. You can see here, that's just basically about how this screen will look. I personally like the standard. Standard looks pretty good, like that. They're really nicely defined, they're bold, and they're easy to see. But the modern ones look good as well. So we had modern, I believe, last time, so that's modern right over here. Alright, so as far as the options, we have the different languages: English, Deutsch, Francais, Netherlands, Italiano, Espanol, Polski, Dansk, Svenska, Somi, Norsk, Sistina. So a lot of different ones. Maybe your language is here. I think they said 14 different languages, which is really nice. Turn on the permanent brain. I'm not really sure what that means, and somebody can comment below on what that is. Saving your games is also a really good option. And yeah, so once you click new game, you can click you want to play for black or white. So let's go ahead and we'll play for black this time around. And here we go. I think we can just go ahead and flip the board in this particular case. So let's just go ahead and turn the board. There we go. So that way, if you wanted to have it this way, where it shows you the pieces the way they're supposed to be, you can go ahead and do it this way. Okay, so that's kind of about all I wanted to show you with regards to this board. I may have missed some things, possibly maybe some things that you guys would probably want to know more about the board. Please comment below, let me know. I'll read those comments. If you want to know any more specifics with regards to this particular board, please let me know, and I'll try to answer those. Also, I know Raphael from Chess House has done a review quite a while back on this particular product. They must have received it quite a long time ago, earlier this year. So this is a nice little board. I think that as far as who this board would probably be best catered to, I would say anybody, like maybe like as a present to somebody, maybe like a kid, if somebody's getting into chess right now and they're maybe somewhere between the ages of like 5 to 12, maybe 5 to 12 or something, and you're looking for that gift for that particular individual. It comes in really nice packaging, you know, it looks really professional. It's got that sort of a dark look to it. It's really wrappable, like it's, you know, you've got the particular box and everything easy to wrap. So a really nice gift, or like a Christmas gift. I know we're already done with Christmas and everything, but yeah, I mean, it's a really nice box. It's a really nice presentation too. For anybody maybe that's kind of young enough to have a cell phone, because we've seen so many different options, so many different boards, like the Millennium E1 from Millennium, or even like the Chestnut Air, Chess Up and stuff, boards that are a little bit bigger.
that allow us so many more different things. But a lot of those boards, they do require a cell phone and some kind of an internet connection, or like an iPad and some kind of a Bluetooth connectivity, where maybe a child, like, okay, yeah, you have a maybe like a relative or a nephew or somebody, and you're like, this looks like a good gift for them. Or like you pick up a Chestnut Air and you're like, I'm just gonna gift this to them. That's an excellent gift. It is, but then the mother would call up and be like, but my son doesn't have a cell phone or an iPad. Like, how is he gonna play this? How is he, because it requires a connection to something. So this might be an option for somebody. This might be an option for somebody, like I said, that wants to have that off the grid type of chessboard that would play well. If you're like an adult and you're watching this video and you want something that would play well, I'd probably say, if you have the option to plug in something to the wall, then the Millennium King performance board will probably give you a quicker play, and probably going to give you a lot more difficult situations to where your game would be a little bit more serious, a little bit quicker, a little bit maybe more nuanced. So, but this is still a really nice product here. It's small, compact, easy to carry. You can throw this in a backpack. If you're getting this for a kid or somebody, you can play games turn on or turn off. If somebody wants to take this to school and it's really nice and compact, they can always have it play just turned off. They don't need to turn it on, and that's also an option. Like I said, the biggest things that I would wish to see if they wanted to improve this particular board is if they had a little compartment for the pieces somewhere in the back, or maybe in the side. If they could come out and the pieces could be stored in there. That way, just toss this in. You don't have to have that extra baggie, and go from there. But I'm assuming they probably don't have extra space inside with the processor being so intense and all. But yeah. Another thing that I probably say is, like I said in the beginning, when you're playing the first couple of moves and it's sort of drawing from that book analysis type of thing, the moves are pretty quick. It's like pa, pa, pa. But then as you get more towards the middle of the game, a lot of times, to me, it seemed like sometimes the computer would take a little bit longer to think. And given that the computer usually doesn't take as long to think, sometimes it's just kind of like, okay, if I was playing against a real person, I would allow them to take this time. But it's a computer. Like, come on, just make your move, you know? We've seen this, though. We've seen this with other chessboards, even some of the bigger chessboards. We've seen this with the King Performance sometimes. So it does take a little bit of time to think, because they have to go through all the different variations, and it's okay. We've seen this with the DGT Centaur. I mean, not to the same degree, but we've seen it. But we've seen it with this European little chess set. We've seen it with a lot of them. They do or should start to think about maybe incorporating more powerful processors in here, given that if you've seen one of the videos that I've done where I've started off playing Fritz or having Fritz analyze some of my games while I had that 20-core Alienware laptop that basically started almost overheating on me from all the analysis, we do realize that sometimes it does take a lot of computing power to give us the readout and to give us all the proper analysis. You would think that to a processor, it wouldn't really necessarily need to take that much time, but I guess it does. So anyways, like I said, I hope you found this video enjoyable and interesting and informative in some way. As far as the price of this particular board, I have purchased this off of Amazon for $179 plus shipping. I believe that they've priced it in such a way that definitely wouldn't be as expensive as the Millennium A1, because the Millennium A1 is bigger and, you know, it offers us a lot more options. But then again, we're comparing apples and oranges, because the Millennium E1 requires a cell phone. It does primarily play online. It's designed for online play. This is designed for offline play without a cell phone. It's just its own computer. So there you have it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think about this particular product. Leave me some likes. I definitely appreciate those. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think about this board, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.